Hi, my name is Jack Hastings. Welcome to my first council conversation show as your new District 5 council member. A well-known area in District 5 is the Surprise City Center, which includes the 200-acre Civic Center and Recreation Campus. While there's a lot going on at City Center already, there is also a lot of vacant land prime for new development. The city has been working with the land developer to ensure that the area is developed to its full potential as a true downtown with a collection of experiences and a feeling of community. Today, I am joined by the city's Economic Development Director, Jeanine Jerkovic, and Scott Phillips, the Surprise Center Development Company, the developer of the Surprise City Center, to talk about the latest progress. Welcome, Jeanine and Scott.
Thank you.
So, Scott, with all the attention on COVID and so much of the development, being based off the economy, what is a realistic time frame to expect for the development of the city center?
Great question. I think backing up and understanding what the impact of COVID has been, and certainly the transitions we've seen and the major disruptors we've seen over the last 15 years in efforts to develop the city center, really starting back in 2006 when we had about 1 million square feet of retail planned and under design, and then we hit the Great Recession, and so that put all those plans on hold for probably a good 6-7 years. In 2010, in the retail world, what you found was what they call the retail apocalypse, which is really the Amazon effect, where retail demand dropped substantially in favor of online fulfillment logistics. So we've obviously also dealt with that disruption. And then in 2020, now we hit a major disruptor in all industries, which is COVID. So we've seen major disruptive events for healthcare. How do we do healthcare delivery differently now? So that's changed some of our plans because we have a big healthcare component. Retail restaurants. How do people consume retail goods? How do they go to restaurants? I mean, what does that new development pattern look like? It used to be 1 million square feet. It may be 1/10 of that today that we need in order to fulfill that demand locally. Even residential. How do we do residential apartments, multifamily, single family differently? So a lot of the builders are working through those things as well. So I would say as far as timing, the timing has been ongoing. I mean, right now we have over $50 million worth of capital investment occurring right now under construction. We have about another $100 million capital investment on the drawing board between probably 4 different projects that we're working on. And there could be more. I mean, we're always working on new concepts, new deals. The one that everybody wants to see is the walkable retail entertainment. That's what we're focused on over on Bullard. And so we have some great meetings coming up this week with some developers that we think could be the right fit. But really the key is we want to do it right. We don't want to do it right now. I should say that differently. We'd love to do it right now, but not at the expense of doing it right. I would say, to answer the question, it's absolutely ongoing. We have never stopped. The amount of development on this property has been significant. It's just a really big piece of land. It's the size of downtown Phoenix. So to have this much activity on a property that size, it just doesn't feel like that much. So let's just say it's ongoing, and it will continue to be ongoing, and our view is that it's going to accelerate.
Absolutely. So Jeanine, let's talk about Ottawa. How does enrollment in Ottawa jumpstart, how does it bring people to our downtown? How do we make it home?
Well, Ottawa University is really an important part of our future downtown. And I say that because it really is part of an overall vision that started not quite a decade ago. Back in 2013, our Surprise City Council really had a vision. We had a lot of young people, a lot of young families moving into the market. And first of all, from a practical perspective, we needed options. We needed options for college-bound students to stay in the city of Surprise. So it provided that. But then secondarily, we needed to demonstrate that we do have a workforce, not only in Surprise, but in the West Valley. But Ottawa was very strategically placed in City Center. And the reason for that is that it takes vitality. It takes people living in our downtown to kickstart a downtown. You can look at the example of, we don't want to always look at the city of Phoenix, but really the city of Phoenix really transformed when people started living in downtown Phoenix. And, I think that's our vision, is that we can learn from those examples. We can build in a youthful, vibrant downtown community in order to build upon. And so the Ottawa University, to answer your question, plays a really important part. So right now they've got about 800 or so that are enrolled. And it's not just the amount of students enrolled, although I know that they hope to grow to maybe about 3,000 or thereabouts. But if you look at all that they've built into the downtown, they've created a football stadium, they've created a shared recreation facility, and they'll continue to grow this campus, and it becomes a very inviting place, not only for students, but for the community to come together and want to do things together, to attend sports games, to work out together, to find out what's happening. So the student body is really going to be an important building block for what's to come.
That's great, and we're really excited to have that youth here in Surprise. I know for me, I still haven't gotten used to seeing people in their 20s. Usually I'm the only one. Scott, when we talk, one thing that comes up a lot when we talk about the downtown city center area is the zoning component. And a lot of residents just simply, they just don't understand how the process works. So can you speak to that, and can you kind of explain how that relates to the Mara City Center project?
Absolutely. One of the key components to a downtown is having zoning that is compatible with a long-term vision. And that zoning was established in 2001. And that zoning effectively allows a wide variety of uses. It goes for more urban development standards, such as very limited setbacks, significant height, allowable heights up to 15 stories, lots of density over the entire property. Because again, if you're dealing with a property that's the size of downtown Phoenix, you want to create that density, and you want to create a critical mass that allows all those different communities that Jeanine was talking about to thrive. So one of those communities, as you said, is Mira City Center. It's 193 units, I believe, 4 stories. It's about 30 units per acre density. It's a tremendous asset to have on the property, not just because of the capital investment that they've made, but because of the type of clientele that they're seeking. So when it comes to the zoning, the zoning's been in place for that property since 2001. The fact that it is age restricted, there's going to be a variety of uses that some people on the property are going to love, and some people are going to say, well, why is that there? Well, the good news is it's 600 acres. So there's room for everything. In fact, a downtown needs everything. It needs, as much as people don't like to look at it, it needs tire stores, it needs good restaurants, it needs entertainment, it needs the university, it needs offices, it needs all of that stuff. The Mira project, that was not our first residential effort on the property, but it's the first one that ultimately got approved. So again, it was fully compliant with zoning, and I think it's going to be a great addition. It's going to be one of 5 residential communities that come out of the ground, actually 6 residential communities that come out of the ground in the next 24 months.
That's great, and it's great that you guys are really taking time to get it right. And of course, we all want it quickly, but we do have to be patient. I think we're starting to see some encouraging process, and so that's fantastic. Jeanine, so as far as expanding our community profile, what type of, Surprise has been seeking a special event. We've been looking for, visitor gatherings. Obviously that's been put on hold due to COVID-19. But how can we, as we develop this city center area, how can we bring a higher profile to our community in Surprise?
That's a great question. When I look at this site, what I think really makes it important is that there are so many elements of this site that are intact. COVID, no COVID, it doesn't matter. The traffic is great. There are sports facilities. There's been significant investment around the area, and the demographics are changing. And, we've got Ottawa and new residential projects coming on board. So all of that is important. So what I think is that what we've got to do as a city is really tell that story. I think that's the most important thing, and that's really the job of myself as the economic development director and the team that I'm with, and really the city overall. So really sending those key marketing messages about not only City Center, but the City of Surprise, that we're ready for those projects, I think is really important. And then, when I look at all of the elements that it's going to take, one of the things that a major anchor will want to see are all of those things that we've talked about. They want to see our vision. They want to understand that we are a place where they will succeed. They will overperform. So in order to tell that story, it's great to just give data, but they really should get our heart. They should come and we should tell them that story with enthusiasm. They should understand that we're committed to making them successful and making an area around them successful. And we do that by creating partnerships, being creative with our partners like Ottawa University, Westmec, maybe other retailers in the market, really creating alliances and really getting them committed. I always say, I know you're engaged, but I always say this process of really attracting that key anchor that really sets the whole place on fire, it's like dating. You have to put yourself out there, number one. You have to get to dinner, so to speak. You have to get them to come and visit your community, and you have to get them to fall in love with your family, with your community. And then hopefully they make a buying decision on the basis of all of the opportunities that they see. So, that's a big high-level answer, but really those are the true facts, and those are the fundamentals of doing a project.
Absolutely. And, Scott, so within that zoning component, you have the master plan. And you guys have done a great job at holding public meeting after meeting after meeting. How many did you say you?
I believe it was 22 total.
22 so far. And then again, obviously, we hit a kind of a stall there. But what can you tell us? And I think for those of you who are watching, they'll put some pictures up of the master plan, but what can you tell us about that master plan and what a lot of the residents have said, and where can they get access to that?
Well, the great news, just to deal with the access issue, the City of Surprise Economic Development Department has a fantastic website that has all the different sites that are of significance, and one of those is City Center. So Surprise Economic Development, and actually not just economic development, but all of staff, has been really good about understanding the vision and how to move projects forward. So one of those is a co-marketing effort that Surprise has. So if you go to the Surprise Economic Development website, you can get a draft or a copy of the master plan there. So that was probably our 7th iteration of our master plan that we just went through. Obviously over a project that started in 1995, and over the number of different market adaptations we've had, you're going to have a number of different iterations of the master plan. So as we look at this latest iteration of the master plan and we get the feedback from the community, which was really about walkability, placemaking, entertainment, a thing for youth to do. But one of the current focuses, in addition to getting more residential on the site, which is really how you create some of that critical mass and energy, obviously focusing on the entertainment restaurant component and trying to get that, but also trying to figure out additional ways to bring parks and recreation components into the site. The reality is, we do business in a lot of different cities. I think one of the major strengths of the City of Surprise is its Parks and Recreation Department. I think it's frankly second to none. That and their ability to attract some great density employers. I think Surprise hits way above its weight class in doing that. So those are really two big strengths. So we can focus on both of those at the same time. So we are looking at ways to partner with the city to identify opportunities for new facilities on the site, partner with Ottawa. How do you double and triple up your capital investment so you only have to spend it once? And so you get the biggest bang for the buck. And so trying to identify those ways to create, I guess one of the ways you would say it is create more gravity on the site. We want there to be a big gravitational pull to the city center. And every different component that we bring adds to that. So Ottawa was a big addition to that. Spring training was a big addition to that. Obviously all the city facilities, city recreation, those are all big additions. Every new project that we do adds to that. I think In-N-Out Burger was a great addition and has a lot of gravity. So that being the guiding light, figuring out ways to partner and create those strategic opportunities, knowing that if we want this to really succeed, we have to be a good public-private partnership, and not just today and tomorrow, but for the next 50 years.
Absolutely. And Jeanine, just one question that just came to me right now. We obviously know the convenience of having a city center that's there for all of us, but can you speak to the economic impact on the city as it relates to sales tax? What type of economic benefit does the city see by bringing people into our city?
What you're talking about is that destination effect. So, I think that's a critical point that we need to tell people that we work on. So, it's one thing to get retail to land in your community. It's another thing to get retail that people will drive to from other places, or entertainment amenities that people will drive to from other places. Everybody wants that destination retailer, and I think that's ultimately the goal of our department. And first of all, we do a survey every year. We ask the residents what do they want, and typically those destination retailers make that list. I mean, not in all cases, but retailers like an IKEA. It's a great example where people will get in their car and they'll drive 50 miles to go to an IKEA, or a Costco. I mean, that was one that we got, and it was for that primary reason. So it's not that people will just drive to that. It's that those have the ability to bring 10, 20, 30 more, other restaurants, other services that are critical to the general fund and to, really making this a quality place to live. So there's that social economy that I think is even more critical, that sense of community pride, that you're in a city that, you feel comfortable in, that you don't have to drive a long way to find things for your family to do, for you to enjoy. So I think that's just as critical, if not more so, than paying attention to the retail sales tax, because those will come. That will come if you get the right anchor. But making sure that you get the right anchor and pull it all together is critical. So great question.
Absolutely, and I think we want to focus too, not just on the short term, but on the long term. This is going to be something we want it to be the jewel of the valley, and we want it to be something where, like you said, 50 years from now, it's not obsolete. And thank you so much, and thank you so much for joining me, Scott and Jeanine. This is my first council conversation. I immediately thought of both of you, and just because I know that's the conversation that comes up with District 5 residents specifically the most, but Surprise residents. I mean, I think there's been a lot of misinformation, and you obviously drive past and then you see some dust and you wonder what's happening, but I think people are encouraged with what's going forward, and I know I have full faith in our economic development team as well as our land development company to get the job done.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Sure.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. You can find information about the Surprise City Center on the city's website at surpriseaz.gov/citycenter. If you have questions or comments for me, please reach out to me by phone or email. I also welcome you to subscribe to my monthly newsletter, which is filled with the latest city news and information. Just click the Notify Me button on my website to sign up. Thanks for watching.